Hey, how's everybody doing? How was your day? How was your weekend? Had a fabulous weekend. We finally had a new president and vice president. I'm sure a lot of people are at ease now. So we want to thank the Lord for that. That we can see some peace. You never know what's going on in the background. We can see some peace. So we want to thank the Lord for that. But how's everybody doing? How you guys doing today? We're going to talk about this stimulus and where is your stimulus? Have you gotten your stimulus? Have you received your stimulus yet? I want to know if you have not received your stimulus, you will be receiving your stimulus. Okay, guys? You will receive your stimulus on your tax return. Okay. So do not fear. You will be getting it. I'm not exactly sure if they're still continuing to send out the stimulus by check or card, the EIP card. But if you do not receive your stimulus by the time you do your tax return, you will be receiving your stimulus on your tax return, which will be called the recovery rebate credit. So make sure your tax preparer can show you where you receive that credit on your tax return. Okay. And while I'm at that point, I want each and every person that's listening to me, make sure you seek to find a reputable tax preparer. Tax season is a season that fraud is manifested in a big way. So you want to make sure that you're dealing with a reputable tax person. Okay. Even if you dealt with this tax person before, a good way to say, hey, you can ask questions about if they're doing your information correctly and your tax returns correctly, is to ask them questions about the new laws. Also, ask yourself, did you get a copy of your tax return? I have people calling me saying, hey, they never received a copy of their tax return. They don't know what's on their tax return. Every tax preparer is by law supposed to give you a copy of your tax return. You are to sign your tax return, whether you're e-filing or mailing a paper return. You should be signing that tax return. Okay. And hopefully they're knowledgeable enough to teach you about your taxes and what's on your tax return. Okay. So seek a reputable tax preparer. Okay, guys. A lot of things going on. Surely you need your money if you're going to file a tax return, and you don't want your money to be taken by someone that should not have it. Okay. All right. So kind of watch your back. Make sure you find your reputable tax preparer. You can actually go to the IRS website and they have a directory for tax preparers. Okay. You can do that, put in your zip code, and you will get a tax preparer close to your location. Now, like I said, you will receive that $600 for adults on your tax return if you have not received it by mail, by check, or by the debit card. The IRS is sending out debit cards with the stimulus on it. As I mentioned before, make sure if you have a senior citizen that's close to you that you know that's not going to realize what that card is when they get it in the mail, they might discard it. So make sure you kind of check on your neighbors if it's senior citizens. Say, hey, you're going to get your stimulus on this card, and that's where your money is going to be. Okay. Now, if they discard that card by mistake or you discard it by mistake, as you see, I have at the bottom of the screen a telephone number to the EIP card. Okay. You can call that number if you lost the card or destroyed it or just misplaced it. You can call that number. they will send you a replacement card. While I'm at that point, now if you received your stimulus on a card previously, the first stimulus, you will be getting another stimulus on that card, but it will be a different card. It won't be the same card. So be expecting a new card with your stimulus on it. Okay. Now, I did read something. If you're on Social Security, veterans, or disability, they are starting to send out your stimulus at the end of the month, probably within the week or so. Okay. So if you're on Social Security and you usually don't file a tax return, do not worry about it. It's coming. It will be in your account, they're saying, by the end of the month. Okay. All right. Now, who is supposed to get the stimulus? Basically, just everybody's supposed to get the stimulus, hopefully, except if you're not a dependent on somebody else's tax return. Now, we know that's an issue. We will look forward to getting another stimulus now that we have a new president who is all for helping the American people when it comes to the stimulus. They're saying that it will be an additional $1,400, and you will receive it in the same way that you're receiving it now. If it's after the tax season, they'll go back to the checks and direct deposit into the card. So make sure when you do your taxes this time, make sure you put that direct deposit information on your tax return within the system. Try your best to get it done electronically, because that's going to be the quickest way to receive any funds from the IRS if you file it electronically. Okay. So make sure you remember to put your direct deposit information on your tax return, so you'll have that in the system. Make sure your address is correct. I know if you e-filing it, sometimes it might get through it with the wrong address, but if you file that tax return, make sure that that address is correct, and then make sure your direct deposit information on there, because we will be getting another stimulus, a third stimulus from what I'm hearing, and you want all of that information correct, and you can do that now. Okay. As I mentioned before, if you made $75,000 as single or head of the household, or married filing separate, $75,000 below, you receive the $600 stimulus. Married filing joint, $600 each. So that would be additional $1,200 for each dependent on the tax return of the age of 16 and below. Each dependent on the tax return, ages 16 and below, you will receive $600 for that individual. All the other dependents on the tax return that's not the age of 16 and below will not be receiving a stimulus. Hopefully in this next package, they will take care of that issue, because we have people that has their parents on their return, and we have college students that's still on the parents' return. But even if the college student do their own tax return, they have to check a box saying that they're dependent on somebody else's return, so they're not giving that college student that stimulus amount. So we're going to pray, and hopefully they're going to take care of that issue in the next stimulus package. All right, guys. And let me know if you have any questions. I can answer a few questions on today. Also, as I mentioned before, within the stimulus package, they are actually giving small business owners quite a bit of benefits. The EIDL loan is still available. The advance, and when you go to SBA.gov, it's going to say the EIDL advance no longer available. It's not available now. The advance is the grant part of it. Okay. But they did update the system, I believe it was on yesterday, with some information about the advance for the people that previously filled out for the advance. Okay. So if you previously filled out for the advance and they ran out of money, or they was waiting on some more documentation, make sure you keep eye on your email. They are saying that it's a possibility that you will be receiving an email saying that you can get the full $10,000 grant if you got $1,000 the last time when you filled out. They're saying that it's a possibility if you meet the criteria that they have now, and that is living in a low income area. So it is a targeted advance amount. Okay. And then they're going to just send you an email. They're not going to be asking you for more documentation because the information is already in the system. They're going to send you an email. So make sure you keep an eye on your emails if you filled out for the EIDL loan previously. Okay. The PPP second round is available. They have just a couple of forms that you can actually fill out. They're going to use your information from your first application, basically to approve you for this next one. So that's why it is a small couple of pages that you only have to fill out for the PPP too. Okay. And there is another grant that's out for if you have a entertaining venue and you lost 95% of your income due to COVID because you had to shut down. They do have a grant up to $10 million for those people who was in the entertainment business that had entertainment venues that they actually had to shut down due to COVID. Now you can find all of this information on SBA.gov as in Victor regarding the small business loans and grants that's available to each and every one that has a small business. Your small business is considered to be a small business, 500 employees or less, or if you're sole proprietor. That means that if you're the only one in your business and you or you just received 1099 income from someone that you did contract work for, you consider having your own business. So you can apply for the EIDL grant and the EIDL loan. When the grant comes back available for the new people that's first time applying, you will qualify for that, and you can apply for the EIDL loan. Now, in order for you to apply for that, you want to make sure that you have filed your 2019 tax return with the Schedule C. Schedule C is a business return that's attached to your individual return. So go back and get your tax return that you completed for 2019 and see if it's a Schedule C on there. That's the information that you can actually put on your EIDL loan regarding your business. Okay. All right. So let's see. Do we have any questions? Let's see. Will older dependents receive one? Not that I know of right now. The only workaround that I'm thinking about on that is, okay, guys, when you do a tax return, if you have a dependent on your return and it moves you to a different filing status from single to head of the household, yes, that will benefit you, your tax liability quite a bit, depending on how much income you have, okay? But if you have a dependent on the tax return and it does not move you to a different tax status from single to head of the household or from single to married filing joint, and you have that one dependent on there, the only benefit that you're getting is the $500, okay? You're getting a $500 benefit for having an additional dependent on there. So you can kind of weigh it out. If that's the only thing that you're doing in order to benefit you getting having that person on your tax return, you might want to let that person file their own tax return, no matter what they do, a simulated tax return, okay? At least they will be qualified to receive the next stimulus, okay? And I don't know what they're going to do about if the previous stimulus where the age of 17 and above did not receive their stimulus. So that's an option that you can do. Get your tax preparer to look at your tax return. On that tax return is the $500. You can move that person from the tax return it might not affect your return at all anyway. It just depends on what's your tax liability, okay? And then pull that person off that return. Let them file their own return so they can qualify for the next stimulus, okay? Now that's just a tidbit of information for you. Let's see. I never received my 600, but the first one was direct deposit. Will I receive it? Never received my 600, but the first one was okay. The 600 now, but the first one was 1,200, but you did receive that by direct deposit. If your account is still the same, yes, you should receive that 600 in that account. And if you don't have it yet, like I said, when you do your tax return, you can actually get it on your tax return. Even if you do a tax return and you actually owe for that tax return, you will still get your $600. Okay. Will you receive a credit or an actual refund? You receive an actual refund. I know it's the IRS, right? You are actually it's a refundable credit. Maybe I say it like that. It's a refundable credit. So yes, you will receive that $600. Received my stimulus last time, but not received at this time. What is the holdup? IRS. IRS is the holdup. And like I mentioned before, if you received it by check or card, you know there was a holdup with the mail and all of that. But if you received it direct deposit and your account is still the same, you should receive it direct deposit to that same account. Okay. If not, you're going to get it on your tax return. So if you have not been filing a tax return, file the tax return so you can get this benefit, and then you'll be set up to get the next stimulus also. As I mentioned before, they're looking to just add additional $1,400 to the $600, making the $2,000 that they wanted to give to the American people. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I received the stimulus, but I didn't receive the additional for my dependents that I had on my taxes. Okay, now you might want to go back and listen to the live that I'm doing now, because I kind of broke that down in detail. Not exactly sure when they're going to actually go back, and if they are going to go back and compensate the people for dependents on their tax return for 17 and above. So let's see. Okay, guys, I believe that is it for now. I can go back and answer some more questions later online. But hey, guys, what I told you about the last time, Clubhouse. Do you know anybody that's on Clubhouse yet? Clubhouse is off the chain. Clubhouse is very beneficial. I have received so many good tips and educational information on Clubhouse. If you have an iPhone, sorry, Androids, you can't get this one just yet. Okay, but you have to have an iPhone. So if you have an iPhone and you have not had the opportunity to get on Clubhouse, if that opportunity come up, make sure you accept it, because it's invite only. Okay, it is invite only. So I do have a couple of invites that I'm going to be giving away. So if you guys just let's see what I want you to do. I want you to go to my website. You can check out what my website is. It is www.Jackson, AND, the letter U, tax service. No, it's not. It's tax.com. Jackson, AND, the letter U, TAX, service.com. I forgot my own website. Okay, go to Google and put in Jackson and you, it'll pop up. Okay. It'll pop up Jackson and you tax.com. Yeah, that's it. Jackson and you tax.com. So it's Jackson, AND, the letter U, TAX.com. Okay. And send me a comment. Okay. Go to the contact page and send me a comment Everybody that does that, I will pick a winner from that. You have to have an iPhone now, and you can't get this and pass it on. You have to have an iPhone, okay? So do that, and you're going to be able to put your telephone number. I have your telephone number, your email address right there. I do have a invite that I'm going to give away to Clubhouse. Clubhouse is off the chain, okay? You're going to learn so much information in there. Many people are in there, people that you probably would never had an opportunity to listen to and talk to, audio. You'll be able to do it inside Clubhouse. Okay, guys? Also, I want to let you know I do virtual tax returns. If you're needing virtual tax return service due to COVID, you don't want to go into the office, I can actually service you. Go to my website, in the contact, send that information and let me know that you're interested in me servicing you by virtually in doing your tax return. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is Miss Jackson. Been doing taxes for 30 plus years. It has been an opportunity to come to you, and thank you for tuning in. You didn't have to, but I appreciate you being with me. I want you guys to be safe and be blessed.